Lil Durk, leader of Only the Family, one of hip-hop's biggest names, is now facing federal conspiracy charges in an alleged murder-for-hire plot. But how did we get here? How did a rapper who rose from the streets of Chicago to global success become a target, branded as a criminal instead of a success story? And the real question, was this a setup? Because when you put the pieces together, one thing becomes clear. This was never about justice. This was about power, control, and who the system wants to win. To understand OTF's current crisis, we have to rewind. Back to the night that set everything in motion. The night that changed everything. Shortly after 3 a.m. Monaco Hookah Lounge, Atlanta. A fight breaks out. At the center, KingVon and Quando Rondo. No weapons, just fists. Then, gunfire. Von drops, bleeding out on the pavement. The shooter? Timothy Lil Tim leaks. A man who wasn't even part of the fight. Von was unarmed. No threat, no weapon. By morning, KingVon was gone. OTF's Mark Blakely, known as Slutty, and O-Block Louie were also shot during the incident. Slutty died from his injuries that night, while Louie passed away later in 2025. Altogether, 3 people lost their lives and others were injured. The bottom line: Lil Tim fired the first shots, which set off a deadly chain reaction. OTF members shot back in self-defense, then 2 Atlanta police officers opened fire. Reports confirmed that O-Block Louie and Slutty were both shot by officers. The entire incident was caught on camera, no doubt, no debate. The next day, Lil Tim was arrested and charged with felony murder. For a moment it seemed like justice was coming, a crime was committed, lives were taken, the system was supposed to do its job, but that moment didn't last. What happened next was pure evil. Days after his death, KingVon's autopsy photo was leaked online, his lifeless body exposed for the world to see. This wasn't just a breach of privacy, this was a violation of his dignity, a calculated act of humiliation. Who leaked it? Who allowed this to happen? This was not a mistake, it was a message. To his loved ones, to his fans, to OTF. And while the world watched in horror, the justice system moved on, like it never even happened. No accountability, no apology. Months later, in March 2021, things take an even worse turn when Lil Tim walked free. The price of his freedom? $100,000 bail, meaning he likely paid just $10,000 to walk out, for felony murder. Quickly, rumors began to swirl. The charges against Lil Tim were being dropped, the DA's office still silent, no updates, no statements, nothing. Let's not pretend Fani Willis's office is unfamiliar with controversy, corruption, and selective prosecution. By the time Lil Tim's attorney publicly admitted in 2023 that the charges had been dropped long ago, it wasn't a revelation. It was just a legal stamp on what had been known for years. In fact, it was even worse than we knew. Lil Tim's attorney confirmed that the charges were dropped before an indictment was even filed. That meant the Fulton County DA's office decided on their own not to prosecute. No grand jury, no courtroom, no evidence presented, just erased. Again, acting like it never even happened. Meanwhile, Lil Tim walked free and all eyes turned to Lil Durk. #SlideForVon started trending. Videos surfaced calling out Durk for not retaliating. Because when justice doesn't come from the courts, people expect it to come from somewhere else. That expectation only fueled the next chapter in this tragedy. Let's be real. If the roles were reversed, KingVon would have been buried under the prison. Because Georgia's Stand Your Ground law, it isn't applied this loosely for just anyone. This time, the system picked a side. Some tried to justify it, saying OTF had a violent reputation. But Lil Tim had a record too. And he wasn't even supposed to have a gun. Yet, he faced 0 consequences. In Georgia, like many states, if a murder happens during a crime, even if you didn't pull the trigger, you're charged. Lil Tim having that gun was already a felony. Pulling the trigger was another, but shooting an unarmed man in a fight he wasn't even involved in, and calling it self-defense? 3 people lost their lives because of his actions, and yet he walked away with no charges. How? Justice exists to stop pain from becoming revenge, to prevent chaos before it starts. But what happens when justice turns a blind eye? Fiat justitia ruat caelum. Let justice be done though the heavens fall. A promise that justice must prevail, no matter the cost. Prosecutors swear by it. Justice should right the wrong, not repeat it. Yet, in this case, it was a mockery. A slap in the face to Von's family, his fans, and everyone watching. So the real question is, was this justice or a setup? The system knows the game, knows that when justice fails, the streets don't wait, revenge takes over. And now, Lil Durk is behind bars. Coincidence? Or a plan set in motion from the start? Possibly even a frame job? The motive was set, so the rest was easy. Technology has come too far, and people are more aware than ever. The government, the corrupt justice system, they can't hide anymore. Every move is watched, every lie exposed. Nobody's blind, nobody's stupid. Maybe it's time we start holding those who break their oaths accountable for actions that undermine the very system they swore to uphold. Because when those in power play by their own rules, justice isn't just broken, it's weaponized. And when that happens, the harm spreads far beyond a single crime. It corrodes entire communities, creating a cycle of injustice that's far more dangerous than any one act of violence. Rest in peace to KingVon, Slutty, and Louie. They deserved better. Lil Durk deserved better. Their families, their fans, everyone watching this unfold deserved better. But instead, justice failed them all. May justice one day be served. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.